everyone, welcome back to Going Gonzo. Today we're going to talk about what will sabotage your keto diet. Now today I'm going to go over a couple of the ways that we can actually sabotage our diet, and we don't realize it because we're going to be, you're thinking that if you follow some of those old ideas that you used to do with your other diets, that it'll be okay. You'll just bounce right back. Now, the first one I'm going to go over is sugar. Sugar is going to sabotage your diet. It will. And sugar is found in about 96% of almost all of our foods, our processed foods, have sugar in it. Because what they've done is they've taken the fat out and they replaced it, because the fat is what actually made it taste a little more enjoyable, your food. And when they take that out, they're actually taking the flavor of the food out. So in order to make it more palatable, to make it taste better, they have to add something back in. So what they've decided to do is they're going to add sugar back in. So now, as a society, we tend to consume so much more sugar, and the sugar is actually spiking our insulin level, or spiking our blood sugar levels, causing our body to release the hormone of insulin from our pancreas. And you know, all scientifically, it tells you to store fat, and that's what it does. It's gonna make you heavier and heavier and heavier as you eat sugar. Now, on the ketogenic diet, though, when you're in ketosis, your body is now in the process of using only fat as your energy source. It's no longer using the carbs, and it's no longer using the glucose and the glycogen. And so, so if you give it some of that stuff back, it'll easily flip right back over and try to use that carbs and sugars. And the problem is that when you're in ketosis, you're going to end up now out of ketosis for a couple of days. And you're now going to have to struggle for the next couple of days on staying nice and strict and clean as possible again, just to get back to where you were. So if you look at it, you're actually losing a couple of days of really good fat loss. And a couple of days could make or break some people. The second piece of advice that I will tell you that will actually sabotage your diet is not eating enough fat. Just make sure that you're eating enough fat so that your body has that energy that it's looking for. And that's the key. You have to really get out of that mindset. I have to avoid fat. Oh, that looks like it's too fattening. Oh, bacon? Are you serious? How can you eat bacon and lose weight? Don't think that way anymore. It's absurd, because everybody tried to say, oh, if you eat this fat and that fat, you're going to get fat. And it's just not true. You'll see scientists before used to say, well, don't eat butter, eat margarine. And then when all the scientific proof could never back up their claims, they finally, a couple of years ago, I believe, they finally said, all right, well, actually butter is a little healthier for you than margarine. Imagine that. And then when they said the egg yolk, oh, don't eat egg yolk, only eat egg whites, just eat egg whites. And you're like, okay, I'll eat egg whites, and I won't eat those yolks. And there's still people today that won't eat those egg yolks because they in their head, they think that egg yolk is going to make them fat, or it's going to give them cholesterol or whatever. And it's just the exact opposite, because they had to, again, come back out, contradict themselves and say, okay, we were wrong about the egg yolks, just like we were about the butter. We're sorry for trying to scare you and trying to ruin you. But, you know, it's just the way they came up with these ideas. And that's because back between the end of the 80s and the early 90s there, when 85% of all the nutritional studies and scientific programs were out there looking for a way to improve our health and to improve our nutrition, the pharmaceutical companies were the ones that took over about 85% of those studies and study cases. And you have to wonder, if they're the ones coming up with it, what is their overall goal? Now, I know that the human body can actually handle so much of bad nutrition for a long time. When we're younger, we just skip. Our body's able to bounce back pretty quick. And as our body continues to fight the bad nutrition, the high sugars, the high carbs, the overeating of foods, the abundance of pizzas and pastas and the never-ending bowls, our body gets weaker. The insulin that helps to get rid of all that sugar becomes less and less strong. It loses its strength and its ability to fix what you've just done to it. So as it weakens, you become what's called insulin resistant. And then what happens is your body then goes into a stage of diabetes. And that would be the type 2 diabetes, which is that first stage. Now that is usually corrected by diet, which is what some of your doctors will tell you. And this diet, this plan, is one of the ones that will actually help you do that. As a matter of fact, in the early 1900s, before they even had the creation of insulin shot, the solution to fix diabetes was to cut out your carbs, stop eating carbohydrates. And they were actually telling you eat less than 10 grams of carbohydrates a day back then. And now the keto diet is really about around 20. You want to really keep yourself around 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. And that's what's going to get you into that ketosis. And it's the same way as this. If you're a diabetic and you still want to eat carbohydrates and sugars, why? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Because then you're just relying on a shot in hopes that that shot will bring you back down to where your blood sugar will be normal again. But what if the shot doesn't work? There's consequences to this stuff. Okay? It's the same as if your child was allergic to peanuts. You're not going to sit there during a football game or a baseball game and give your kid a whole bag of peanuts or stuff and then just wait for the symptoms start to kick in, whereas maybe his throat starts to swell up or he starts to turn into a big red balloon or whatever, however peanuts would affect your child. And then you just say, well, I'll just give him one of these epinephrine shots and hopefully that'll work. You wouldn't do that to your child, so why do it to yourself? Okay? That's my point on that. Okay, now the third way that we sabotage our diet is by, again, going back to our idea of how we used to diet before, and that's implementing a cheat day or a cheat meal. Now, I've touched on this already a little bit, but a cheat day and a cheat meal have super effects on the ketogenic diet. Okay, so if you really need to, and you have to, you're going to lose a couple days of fat burning. And if that's okay with you, and you're okay with getting out of ketosis and having to struggle to get back into ketosis and go back into your fat loss days, then you can have a cheat meal. But if you calculate it out, say Monday through Wednesday, you did great. You got yourself into ketosis. You're now in ketosis. It took a couple of days. And then Thursday you have a cheat meal. Okay? Now that cheat meal bumps you out of ketosis. And it can bump you out for a couple more days. So now Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're out of ketosis. Okay? Now you get back into it on say Monday or Tuesday, and you have another cheat meal. Well, now you're back out of ketosis. So every time you're in ketosis and you start to have a cheat meal or a cheat day, you're going to bump right back out. So the goal is stick with the ketosis. Get into ketosis and stick with it, because that's when you're going to be getting your benefits. It's consistency. Stick with it. Be consistent. You're going to see the weight loss. You don't need the cheat meals, because as you stick with this diet, the cravings and temptations go away. They honestly do. You think, oh, I can't live without pizza, or I can't live without beer. I've heard all these excuses and all these examples and all these complaints before, but you can. You really honestly can. Your body doesn't need them. You're not going to die without them. You're actually going to get healthier. Your whole body's going to thank you for it when you do. Okay? And when you start to lose weight, you're starting to get energy, and you're going to start wanting to do other things than sit around and drink beer and eat pizza all day. Trust me, I've been through those stages. So, and I've made mistakes, and I've done all this before. This is why I'm trying to help you to so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. This is my whole goal about these videos, is to help you and show you the mistakes that I made, and the mistakes that I will make in the future, and I will. We're human. We always make mistakes, but we just have to get right back on and start all over and do it again. But try not to do a cheat meal or a cheat day every week or twice a week, because it's just gonna destroy you. You want to go 1-2 weeks clearly in ketosis. No cheat meals, nothing. You don't want to even add that extra creamer to your coffee, because that can bump you right out. Fake sugars can bump you right out. Fake sugars will still spike your blood sugar. There's a couple of them that won't, but unless you know for sure, it's just going to happen. You're going to bump out and you don't even realize it. And if you don't have those blood test strips, or if you aren't checking your ketones, then you may not even know you bumped yourself out, and you're going to get frustrated with the diet. And you're going to think it doesn't work, and it's just going to be another one of these failed diet plans that you thought just doesn't work. And I could guarantee you that if you stick with this diet plan, it will work. It does. It really, really does. So I hope these sabotage examples will help you out and keep you in your ketogenic diet, and keep you healthy and keep you going. And I hope that you subscribe and like my channel. And if you know somebody else that would actually benefit from this channel, please let them know about my channel. Have them watch me as well. And I'll see you next time. Going Gonzo.